You, Stefan Molyneux from Freedom Main Radio. We are bidding adieu to Barack Hussein Obama, and he is heading off to Palm Springs, I think it is. How appropriate, the left coast. And I wanted to sum up some information about him that seems to have escaped a lot of attention, obviously from the mainstream media, but from a lot of other outlets as well. This is my closure, my going back and looking at all the salt that was sown into America's soil and wounds by Barack Obama. Now, the first thing to remember, of course, this is number one. Despite being granted the Nobel Peace Prize, along with the tasty $1.4 million US that came with it, Barack Obama was in fact at war longer than any other president in United States history. Do you know, he spent his whole 2 terms constantly at war. His weapon of choice? Drone strikes. These, of course, were used by Barack Obama to bomb at least 7 countries since becoming president. Yes, nothing says I deserve the Nobel Peace Prize like dropping 100,000 bombs over the course of your presidency. Hey, world, do you feel like becoming Dresden? I've got you covered. Now, this allows him to hide, of course, the ill effects of the war on terror. Everyone talks, ooh, they're so precision, they're pinpointed and so on, but drones pretty regularly kill additional people. They cause massive blowback. They stoke virulent anti-American hatred. It's not really anti-American, it's anti-blowing me up in virtually every country they are used in. A lot of former officials say that the drone strike program does actually more harm than good. What kind of president is he as far as wartime goes? Hard to tell. The fog of war seems to envelop the White House itself. How many troops does America have in each country? No one knows. You see, Obama's Pentagon refuses to say, so roll the dice and times a billion. I mean, we do know there are now at least 10 times more troops in Iraq than in the latter half of 2014. And since 2014, Obama has dropped a little more than 25,000 bombs in Iraq and Syria and Libya and elsewhere. Now, if you're not dropping bombs on people, perhaps you can help arm their oppressive governments. Obama says, yes, I can. He also sold by far the most weaponry of any president and arms to Middle Eastern countries, many of whom, of course, are waging their own wars, some against their own people. It's time for the big view. The war on terror been going on for a little over 15 years or so. It has resulted in at least 2 ground invasions and bombing 7 additional, mostly Muslim countries. After all of this, trillions and trillions of dollars and millions of deaths, there are now more terrorists who are killing more people than there were in 2001. Oh, look, anti-terrorism is a government program that produces more terrorists. Gosh, it's a good thing we've got an anti-poverty program that doesn't produce any more No, that's not correct. I mean, just in 2014, the US government said that 32,727 people were killed by terrorists around the world. That's actually up 80% from the year before, right? So 2013 to 2014, up 80%. Since 2002, the year after the war on terror began, the number of people killed by terrorists around the world has gone up 4,500%. So maybe Borat was right. I don't know. Look at the terrorist organizations, right? In 2001, Al-Qaeda, mostly confined within the boundaries of Afghanistan. Now Al-Qaeda and Islamic State and so on, they've got regional affiliates in more than 15 countries, including continents such as North Africa, Oceania, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. So why? Why is terrorism doing so well? Despite the war on terror, well, arguably because of the war on terror. In March of 2015, this is a report by a wide group of humanitarian organizations, and this includes the Nobel Peace Laureate, International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War. The estimate is just in Iraq alone, as a direct consequence of the US war on terrorism, 1 million people were killed in Iraq. That's actually about 5% of the country's population. Now, you can check out my presentation, Iraq, A Decade of Hell, for more on the effects of this war on the local population. But if you sort of normalize the deaths in Iraq by American populations, this would be a little over 16.2 million Americans killed, right? Proportional, 1 million, 16.2 million Americans killed. That's about 5,400 9/11s. So let's say that you had that death count of 9/11 every day. How long would it take for you to get to 16.2 million Americans? Well, it would be a 9/11 every day for almost 15 years. A 9/11 every day for almost 15 years. Now, remember how angry you were at 9/11 and what happened if you were around? Well, 15 years every single day.